Hi guys, welcome back. So it suddenly occurred to me that the tank behind me, you've seen me plant things on the top of it, but we've never actually really gone over what's inside of it and what the setup is. So today we're going to do a little bit of maintenance, we're going to do some water changes, we're going to clean the FX6 filters, I'm going to show you how I do it, and most importantly, we're going to look at what fish I've actually got in this tank. So stay tuned and watch the video. Okay, so those of you who have watched the channel for a while will have seen the videos of how I planted these plants on top. So we've got two peace lilies, this one here, they're the most recent additions. They've got some nice new growth coming. We did a video on the spider plants. One of them didn't make it, the other one has. And then of course we've got the centerpiece, the monstera, which has just thrown up this lovely new leaf. So that one's doing really well. We've also got the two bits of pothos in there. They haven't died, they haven't really grown either. So today, a little bit of trimming on these plants just to get rid of some of the dead leaves. So we'll do that first before we look at the fish. Okay, so we're just going to use a little pair of scissors. As you can see, some of these leaves are damaged. These were the original leaves that were on the plant before I put it in my tank. If you can see through there, you've got some, hard to get through. This one here is a nice new leaf, and there's a few, you can see there's little spiry bits there, new leaves as well. So we're going to get rid of a couple of the old ones, not too many because we don't want it to look bare, but mainly the ones that have got some dying leaves. So this one here is the big one. We're just going to get in there, just going to snip that there. Not only will it get rid of some of the dead leaves, it'll provide more light to the plant. So these plants, as you can see, I've just got two standard LED spotlights. So these plants up here don't get much daylight, but they do grow okay with these spotlights. Probably not as good as they would in a better position, but they do fine up here. And they're relatively cheap to run. I think they're like 6 watts. So this one here has also got a bit of dying out on it. That one there has that little one. That's cut as well. And then we've got a couple back here. I don't know if you can see them. They're dying a little bit. So we'll give that one a snip and that one. Oh, we've also got this one here. Again, we'll snip that. I want to get as close to the bottom as I can, just to make it look slightly better. So how's that one looking? That was a bit, we'll leave that one on. That one looks okay at the moment. Now the Monstera's had this one on it since I brought it. I don't really want to cut it off, and this one, purely for the fact I like the way it fans out. But if we do happen to get some more new growth on that side, we will cut that one off. It's probably just because it's grown in water and that leaf didn't transition very well. But like I say, this is a new leaf and that's doing fine. So we've got in here, we've got a little bit of spider plant, dead leaf. I'll pull that one off. Got a bit of a dead leaf on that pothos back there, on there. Let's see if we can get in there and snip that one. There we go. Then this side, this spider plant completely died. I will put a video up here somewhere of when we did these ones, just so you can have a look how we did them. Now originally we moved these plants, these leaves about a bit to give that more light. However, the Monstera's had other ideas and grown completely where we didn't want it to. But that is what plants do, so that's cool. There we go, we can see that pothos root there. It's only just sitting on the surface, so we'll dig that in a little bit while we're here. Cover that with these clay balls. If you're interested in these clay balls, I'll put an affiliate link in the description. Do remember, if you buy off that, I do get a few pennies, but you can get them from any shop, or just search up on Amazon yourself. So this one's not quite as bad as the other one. We've got this big leaf here has got a bit of damage, so we'll get rid of that big one straight away. It was a bit tough. You'll see on the original video that this side is just made up of 3 smaller plants, whereas the other side was one relatively big one. So we cut that off as well. That one was already one we trimmed at the beginning. I don't want to pull these too hard in case they snap. There goes, that's that one gone. And again, just going to reposition this pot a little bit just by pushing the clay down to get some of the clay from this side, poke it in this side, and just wedge that in a little bit. So how are we looking? Not a big fan of that one. It does have some new growth, so we'll just trim that on a little bit higher. There we go. How are we looking? Like I say, there's tons of new growth on here. Here, coming through here, and some at the back as well. So I'm happy with how that looks. We'll clear away these dead leaves and then we will come back and look at the tank itself. So onto the tank itself. You've seen the plants. This bit of bogwood is just cable tied to the top, and you'll see from inside to make it look like roots from the bit of bogwood. Really sorry about the reflection. Bad time of day to film it. And then that looks like it's coming through. However, that is also just cable tied. You can see this bit of slate here. That root system is on that bit of slate. Nice effect. We've got the Aqua Sky 2.0 from Fluval. We only have that on very dim because the lights, these are Wi-Fi controlled lights. They turn on off at a set time. Now in the tank itself, you can see we've got a nice big bogwood structure there. Again, just to make it look like roots growing down. And then that was the root system we were talking about. Over this side, got a nice little cave. Now the inhabitants on here, if you'd seen some of my early videos, you would have seen I had a lot more clown loach than this. Unfortunately, we had a disease outbreak, only affected the clown loach, and I lost about 7 of my biggest ones. But we did manage to save some of the other ones. Now, that's going to happen to everyone at some point. Keeping fish, it's just luck of the draw. It's how you deal with it. Look at the fish we've got then. We've got a couple of tinfoil barbs, quite large ones. We've got some geophagus at the back there, 2 of them. And a lot of people don't know what these are. Comment down below if you know what they are, or if you knew what they are. I'm going to tell you. Now, they are called signal barbs. Also, Festivum barbus, I believe. Quite rare in the hobby. You don't often see them. Now, when I got them, they didn't have the red on them. And you'll see this one coming through there. It's got a nice red dorsal fin now. They go reasonably big, but quite slowly. And they look really good. And then we've got a black Oscar there. And we've also got the clown loach you'll see going in and out. Now that clown loach in front of us there is just shy of 12 inches. It's quite large. And then we've got a few smaller ones. I believe he's a male. The marks on him, coincidentally, are from fighting with the other male that's in here. Happens quite a lot. You can't avoid it, but they don't hurt themselves too much, just constantly bickering. We've then got this red-headed geophagus or earth eater there. Sorry, I don't know the proper name for that one. We've also got, oh, there's the black Oscar, pretty little thing. We've then got a albino severum or orange gold severum, looking pretty there. And we have somewhere an albino tinfoil barb. There it is, which is hard to follow, but we'll try our best. There we go. Now, also in here is a fire eel. If you look in there, I'll zoom in a little bit. Our fire eel. We've had him or her since it was little, tiny little baby, and it's got quite big now, but it doesn't want to come out. We've then got 1 pleco in here, which is hiding, and we've also got 2 cynodontis upside down catfish, which we've also had from way back when we first got this tank. So that's a look at all the fish that are in there. Majority of them. There are some videos on the page of feeding videos, some more specific about clown loach, etc. And there will be more in the future, I'm sure. So then, what setup have we got? We are running 1 FX6 on this side, one FX6 on that side. Now this one on the right comes out into a spray bar, as you can see there, which goes most of the distance along the tank and shoots up at the top. This one down here just has the ordinary flow pointing down, going over the two, I think they're Fluval E Series E300. They need constant flow over them. We're running the tank at about 28.5 to 29 degrees, and there's another one there, so we've got a nice backup. There's no air in there, gets plenty of aeration from that. So that's the basic setup there. So that's what we're dealing with. We're going to do a quick water change, and I'm going to show you how I maintain the FX6 filters. I do one clean every 6 months, alternate. If the flow happens to reduce before then, I'll do them sooner. But as you can see, the water's pretty clear. No detritus in there. So let's get on to that. So let's start off by unplugging the FX6. Make sure that's nice and safe, and we've just moved that out of the way. Once we've done that, we then need to look at the taps. So this is the outlet. We need to turn that to close this one off. It's quite stiff. And then the same with the inlet. That means the water will no longer flow down the pipes. Now that red button there, we need to push that and lift that up. Normally I put a towel around this, but for the purpose of this video, I'll show you how much water is still in the pipe. So it can be a bit tricky. If we just pull that up, and there we go, you'll see that's how much water is in there. Not too much, but you want to make sure you've got a towel handy. For the second one, I'll do it how I normally do it. I'll just grab the towel, wrap it around the back of the inlet, and then when I lift that up, again quite stiff, the water will just go straight onto the towel, which makes it slightly less messy and more convenient. Right, that's done. Now the FX filters, once full of water, are quite heavy, so be careful here. We're going to pull that out. As you can see, a bit of water dripping off there. We will just give that a quick tidy up. Let's take it outside. So we've got it outside now. We are going to undo these. I like to undo them at the same time, opposite ways. They're only done up finger tight, so it should be easy to get off. We'll just do that. They're quite easy. Again, I've had this for quite a while and they don't seem to seize up. So now we've done that, we will take the top off, and let's have a look how dirty that is. As you can see, pretty grimy, but not too bad considering that's been there for about 6 months. Just put that back on there. So we're going to start off with a nice clean bucket. We're going to use this to put the media in. Now this is the water coming out of the tank that's currently draining out of it. So we're going to fill the bucket up with some tank water. I'm going to take the sponges out, just going to throw them to one side for now. Take these side sponges out, they're pretty gross, and then we're going to lift the whole unit out there. So a lot of people say clean the whole thing with tank water. I don't. I just clean the biological media. The mechanical sponges I will clean with the hose pipe. So let's take the top layer off. This is the biomedia. We're just going to dump that straight into the bucket off the middle layer there. That's got two sections. Take that tray out, put the next lot in there, dump that in there nicely, and remove these sponges. Now the third and final layer has got one tray of biomedia in it also, so we're just going to take them out and we're going to dump that straight into the bucket. So that's all the biological media. As you can see, this one's pretty grimy, lots of sand at the bottom one. It's always the bottom one that's the grimiest. So we're going to just swish the biological media around. It's not too bad. It doesn't generally get too dirty because it's protected by the sponges. Just going to do that once. Empty that out onto the grass. It's good for the grass, nice fertilizer. Then we're going to fill that back up. We're going to try and just cover the media. Now it's a really nice warm day today, so I don't have to worry about the bacteria dying off in the cold. So we're just going to fill that up, and that's nice warm water, tank water, and that will preserve that. We're just going to put that to one side for now. So onto this, we're just going to use the hose pipe to clean these. I'm going to whiz through these. We've sped this up a little bit. Again, I'm not worried about biological bacteria. on these. So we're just going to spray these down nicely. There we go, nicely done. Now time for the sponges. These are pretty gross. Again, do the best job you can, and then give them a good squeeze out. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to get them perfect unless you spend hours on it. So yeah, that's what you got to do with those ones. And then we get onto the black sponges. You can get carbon and other things into these. I haven't got carbon in it. I don't need it at the moment, but they're quite handy. So let's put this back together. Bottom tray, start off with one black sponge at the bottom. Now this is where the most dirt seems to end up in my filters, always at the bottom. So red tray, first layer of biological media. We don't want to, it's important you don't put this too high because then it stops the next layer going on. So it's looking about right. Put them in there, spread them out nicely, and then we'll put the sponges back in the side. They fit quite nicely. Again, they've lasted pretty well. They don't seem to deteriorate too badly. Put the middle one on. Now this one has 2 layers of biological media, so we put 1 layer straight into the basket. Again, this one's more important. Don't overfill it because you've got to put the red tray in as well. So that looks about right. We'll put the red tray in and then put some more biological media on top of that, which should be all of it that we've got left if I've done this right. So we've put that in there now, looking good. Get the last few bits out. There we go, last couple of bits now. So that's the last bits in, looking good, perfect. Let's put these sponges back in. They just fit in nicely. Put them in, and then we will get the final layer. Now this final layer, I just have 1 mechanical black sponge in the top. You can put what you like in it, but I like to do that. You could even put more biological media in if you like, but I like to kind of filter the water a bit better. Some people put floss in it. I find that clogs up too much. So we will put these levers back in, click them in. They just click in nice and easy. So that's them back in position. So we can finally fit this back into the FX6. It's pretty obvious which way it goes in. You just have to wiggle it and it seats itself nicely. So we've got that. We just need to grab the lid, put the lid in. Again, pretty obvious where that goes. Put that in nicely, and then we're going to do the bolts back up. Again, I like to do them at the same time, opposites, just so it doesn't pinch in any one area. Do them finger tight to start with, and we'll just work our way round the FX6. Sometimes these white clips do pop off, but they do just pop straight back on. No problems at all. So again, we'll just tighten this up. That one's just popped out, but we can just pop that back in like I said. There we go. So we're just going to tighten these up quite loose at first, just finger tight. You never want to use a tool to do these up or you'll end up breaking it. So I'll just go around once more, check them all, finger tight, looking good. Let's go back to the front room. So here we are, back at the cabinet. Give it a quick wipe, any water that's left on it. Now a lot of people say these are really quiet, and they are quiet, but I've got mine in an alcove and it vibrates an awful lot, so I use the rubber matting that I've got there, and I've got little offcuts of rubber that I'm going to use to put underneath it as well. So we slide that in. Luckily there's indentations of where it goes, so we'll line the feet up with those as well. Now the tank is still draining, but I'm going to show you a little tip that I like to do. So we're going to connect these hoses back up where they were, which is pretty simple. So I'll bring you in a bit closer there. We grab this is the outlet, so this just pushes on. You don't need to push the button. Push it on till it clicks. Make sure it's not loose. That's perfect. Then we're going to put the other one on. This is the inlet, and we're going to click that on. Now we're going to open these up now to let the water come in now, and I'll tell you why, even though the tank is draining down at the moment. So again, a bit stiff. We'll open it up. Once you open the outlet up, it will come down nicely. So the water is rushing into those now, and you'll be able to hear the air coming out. The whole point of this is, if we look at the spray bar, this may take a few minutes, but if you watch that spray bar, you'll see the water coming out. And the reason I do this in the top tip is because it purges the detritus that's in there. It's better to do that whilst the tank's draining than when it's filling back up. So the tank's going to be filled back up. We're just going to turn the filter back on so you can see the difference in flow. Alexa, turn the filters on. There we go. So that's all the way along. Spray bar there. You can see that's working well. We're going to let the tank finish filling up and then I'll come back to you. There we go. The tank is now all filled up, looking lovely, lovely and clean. Hopefully how I clean the FX6 filter helps you guys out if you wanted to know how to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. It helps so much. 98% of people watching my videos aren't subscribed, so please do subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. I'm going to spin you around. I'm going to leave you with a quick feeding for the fish. We're going to use Hikari Vibra Bites, their favourite food. And I'll leave you with that. See you in the next one.